AX-52 is the automatic rifle that we got at TennoCon 2024. But it looks like what does that look like, guys? That looks slightly like an AK-47 to you? Hold on. 52, 47. 52 with 47 is... Oh, no way. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're gonna be diving deeper into the AX-52. As per usual, we're gonna have an introductory level build and an endgame setup. That said though, please bear in mind that my builds and guides usually take a more new player friendly tone, simply because I want anybody watching to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. So in case you're a more veteran of the game, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the AX-52. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And for that, just a couple of our regular pre-shots. What weapon was the AX-52 is an automatic rifle, my friends, and this one will be firing a hit scan attack. Pretty quick, magazine of 40, reload on 2 seconds, and it also has 2 tricks up its sleeve. First of all, if you hip fire, you get ammo efficiency, so that 40 magazine is actually gonna last you a whole lot longer. The second trick that the weapon has, extra critical chance on headshot, but you gotta go aim mode. How much extra crit, Leyzar? 100%. Bonus additive after. So while the weapon may have a base critical chance of 26%, add 100 to that and you're looking at 126% on headshot, which is absolutely fantastic, especially for all of you sharpshooters out there. How does the weapon handle though? Well, it does have a bit of recoil, but it's one of those climbing recoils, just climbs a little and then stabilizes. Honestly, for an AK, it actually is kind of accurate. And that's pretty much it. The functionality, let's have a close look at stats to know exactly what we're dealing with. Mod capacity, 60 out of 60. If you got this one from watching over on Twitch, so you got it from the drops, it comes with a Auto King Catalyst already installed. I'm assuming that later down the line, this weapon will be brought by Baro Ki'teer, and in that case, you will not have the Auto King Catalyst installed. But wait, it gets better. It also comes with 2 default V4 rarities or Madurai. And for the weapon build that I'm recommending you fantastic people, start off with 2 maximum pre-forma. It will depend on where exactly you want to take the weapon, if you want to go for max out or just a standard build. Magazine 40, like we said, reload on 2 seconds, like we said, accuracy actually very high, again, for an AK trigger automatic, riven disposition of 1. That of course means that going for riven mods is not really worth it on this weapon. I mean, you can get something that is quote-unquote slottable, but it's either gonna be really lucky to get something like that or really expensive. Down to you. I don't recommend rivens for this bow on weapons. Critical chance 26, like we said, 2.4x critical multiplier by default. Mwah, bellissima. Status chance at 18%. The status is not overly fantastic on this one, then again, it doesn't really need to be, and the damage by default is going to be puncture, which will help with crits yet again. Full puncture procs on targets, another 25% bonus additive after. The unique trait, like we talked about earlier, hip fire shots plus 60% ammo efficiency, and aimed headshots have a 100% critical chance, again, bonus additive after. Now, let's have a look at a standard, ordinary, everyday build. Damage duration, multi-shot split chamber, critical chance and critical damage with critical delay as well as vital sense. Now, this one is a corrupted mod. In case you're more newer to Warframe, there are a lot of fantastic corrupted mods in the game that you need to farm. Not just for this build or weapon builds in general, but for Warframe builds and companion builds as well. And if you don't know how to farm corrupted mods, as always, I got your back. Look at the cards right now. We also got 260 vital mods, Malignant Force and Rhyme Rounds. Rhyme Rounds you get from doing spy missions, Malignant Force from Corrupted Vor in the Void. Don't worry about it, he's a pushover. You can also buy it from the trade chat for 5-10 a plat a piece, something of the sort. Hunter Munitions needs to be here. It's a crit weapon, it's a crit primary weapon. Hunter Munitions needs to be here because Slash is still extremely powerful, and this is an outstanding mod. We also got Vigilante Armaments. Now, this is your option slot. I want you to put into this one whatever makes you feel more fuzzy inside in terms of gameplay. If you prefer fire rate, to unload that magazine faster, especially if you're gonna go for hip fire, absolutely, less recoil and whatever else. But if you're gonna go for less recoil, keep in mind you do have an Excellent slot, and in here you can slot Stabilizer. From my point of view, you don't really have do, but you might. You can also go for an ammo mutation in case you go overboard with fire rate. We're going to be testing against the Orokin battle group level 80 because from my point of view, this is what I would consider normal level content. Now let's see what the weapon can do. Absolutely destroying the trash enemies such as the butchers in just a couple of bullets, like so. Now this is a more tougher target. Corrupted Heavy Goon, a whole lot more EHP, just a couple of bullets right in its head and absolutely annihilated. The Bombards are also a lot more tougher than the Butchers, but they also fall in a couple of bullets. But I know what you're saying. Hold on, Laser. I don't like to aim. I don't like to go for headshots. I know you're getting that extra crit, but what about hip firing? What if I just want to make this one into a hip fire? Well, it does work, but honestly, I believe that this one shines with a hip fire build only if you're going to be building some additional fire rate for the gun. But for normal level content, you will have no issue whatsoever in clearing level 80s, 100s, essentially what I like to call sortie level enemies. In sortie, you can get slightly higher than this if your final sortie is something like a survival, maybe level 110, but honestly, the results will be mostly the same. And this concludes the new player portion of the guide. Let's say that you have the necessary resources and you want to build this weapon to its absolute max. Galvanized Aptitude, Galvanized Chamber, and we also have a Bane mod here. If you hate Bane mods, you can swap this one out. But for the best results, you're gonna have to get this one, especially on damage over time builds such as this one, because Bane mods, or better said the faction modifier that this one provides, does double dip. Tell you what though, I normally don't really recommend Galvanized Scope because of the way the stacks drop on this one. It's simply not all that efficient. But if you're going for headshots, you might as well go for this one. It's 100% doable. Outside of that, we also got Prime Shred. Essentially, we got a bit of Punch Through. Punch Through adds a pseudo form of area of effect in Warframe, especially if you're going to be clumping up the targets together, then you can get a whole lot of value out of this one. Prime Cryo Rounds is going to be the only elemental mod that we're going to be using on this one, coupled together with Primary Frostbite. That's a lot of critical damage and of course the multi-shot as well. So as you can see, this is a critical build. I'm going to show it twice to you. First like this with the extra galvanized scope because I know you love the crits, and then we're going to be switching to a Bane mod. As for any damage over time build, you're going to be needing that viral proc, but I'm not going to be getting it from the weapon. True, I can drop galvanized scope or another mod and essentially get myself some viral, for example Shred, but I'm not going to be doing that. Instead, we're going to be getting viral from Grendel's ability Nourish. Also, we're going to be using a Sentinel as a primer because the gun itself doesn't really apply a whole lot of statuses. What is the best primer in the game? The Diriga, of course. I know you knew that. I know. You can use this as a jumping off point for the Diriga build. As for the Hellstrom, this is the weapon you want to get to make sure you prime your targets all well and good. We're going to be priming with Corrosive. I know, things are crazy nowadays. We used to build Corrosive and prime with Viral. It's actually smarter when you're going to be fighting the Orokin to switch things around. So this is going to be applying a whole lot of Corrosive and some heat to our targets. Level 205 Orokin Battle Group with the Steel Path modifiers, essentially everything, and we're going to be activating Grendel's Nourish. Now let's see what the weapon can do. Oh, beautiful! Beautiful, fantastic, and glorious. I know you love the crits, boys. I know you do. Though keep in mind, crits are limited not just by the critical multiplier, it's a single multiplier. Make sure that when you're maxing out your weapons, you try to access as many multipliers as possible. It's simple math, essentially. As for the weapon's performance, well, what can I tell you? You have no problem in destroying level 200 Steel Path with the weapon. The only problem? Laser, you're going from target to target. In an area of effect meta, can a single target weapon actually pack a punch? Well, yes it can, and you always have the option for a clump up ability, cheap as that might be. Now we're going to be changing that last mod like I promised you, and we're going to be going for the faction modifier instead, just so you can see the difference in performance. Now I say that, but you're really not gonna be noticing that much of a performance difference between the two builds. I mean, guy did. Same targets as before. One more time for Subra. This is the weapon that was delivered to us Tenno for free at TennoCon. I don't get the crits anymore as much as I did before, but the weapon still absolutely wrecks everything. And of course, ideally, if you want to see the slashes and everything, let me get something beefier. Corrupted Heavy Goon. Stop before you kill it and then watch the slashes and the virals and essentially everything kind of come together. Chat, what do you want to see, this or this in actual gameplay? Quick. Your choice. Scope, one vote for Scope. Scope, 2 votes for Scope. Come on, chat, Scope or Bane mod. Scope or Bane mod. Scope, Bane mod, Bone Scope. Bane is lame. Bane is lame! We have official confirmation from Twitch chat. Bane is lame. Well, Galvanized Scope is not exactly fantastic either. We're going to be going for this one for the actual gameplay test. Welcome to Deimos. Now let's see what the weapon can do against actual enemies in an actual gameplay situation, even though there's really not much difference between this and the Simulacrum now that you do have those steel path modifiers. These are base level Murmur, and the weapon is gonna absolutely shred everything that stands before it. I would recommend you go in between, aiming down sights for heavier targets, and the trash, the usual, let's say, rogue Polarvents, just aim normally so you get that extra ammo efficiency, so you can, you know, spray for longer. Because we do like spray for... Never mind about that. What can I tell you about the weapon? It's not a bad weapon by any stretch of the imagination, and it absolutely shreds. The one sin that it does have, it's a single target weapon, but if you can tear yourself long enough from your Latrons and your turrets, I think you're gonna be having a good time with this one. Something a bit more classic in a spacey, futuristic weapon, like, you know, a full-blown AK. There's still one more thing that I do want to show you. What can this one do versus an Acolyte? Violence, I think it's one of the few that can, like, legitimately kill you. Here he is. Reloads once. Calm down. How can I show gun if you still move? There we go. That's it for violence. And then I told you this is the one that I can actually kill you. Now let's draw some conclusions for the AX-52. Is this one of the best weapons in the game? One that you must have at all costs? Absolutely not. This, again, is a single target weapon and an area of effect meta. However, it does have some novelty factor to it. You can have a little bit of fun with it. And you know what? Its gimmicks are a whole lot better than the one that we got last year. Of course, I'm talking about the Warframe. The increased ammo efficiency when hip firing, like so. Fantastic. The extra crit for going on headshots for all of you sharpshooters are there. For all of you red crit enjoyers, the fact that you can have a build that takes advantage of both at the same time can be a whole lot of fun. And maybe you got bored of the same old turret or the same old Latron. You know what? It is worth building as long as you still find Warframe fun and enjoyable. And I do believe, my friends, that is pretty much it. As always, my name has been Lazar. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content. If you got any feedback from me, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll catch you guys in the next one.